Welcome and good morning everyone out there. Thank you for watching this morning. It's a special live edition of the Solid Sports Video Blog, episode 162, live special. Today's date is January 2nd, 2021. Happy New Year to everyone out there. Let me be the last to tell you that. Happy New Year, everyone. Hope everybody's safe and having a good New Year so far, though it's the second day of it. I'm Troy Westside. Thank you so much for watching this morning. Special live edition of the Solid Sports Video Blog. Sorry I haven't been on in it's been about a week or so. I took a week off last week. Had to get my mind together a little bit. So I'm back this week. I appreciate everybody who's been supportive. As far as the channel, I've still been focused on Cyberpunk as well. I've been doing a lot of videos of that. I might do another one actually before the afternoon. But I wanted to say thank you guys for all the support always, and Happy New Year once again. We got a big show today. That's why I decided to come on live. A lot to talk about. We got some baseball news, even though baseball's been quiet. The San Diego Padres, these moves with acquiring Yu Darvish and Blake Snell, two probably the top, you could say at least top 10 starting pitchers in baseball. They added to the Padres already potent lineup, so I'll talk about that. Can they challenge the Dodgers, and we'll get into all that. NBA, we'll look at some early season headlines, some early up and downs, I'm gonna call them. What teams are doing well. Still too early to tell. Most teams have only played about 5-6 games, but so far the NBA is doing pretty well as far as COVID. Haven't been no major outbreaks or anything, even though this year they travel and there's no bubble. So hopefully that'll continue throughout the season, and we can get a season in. Now that there's a vaccine, maybe things will get easier as well. But NBA doing good so far with that. And a big week 17, final week of the NFL season. Teams still try to make the playoffs. Teams still try to clinch the division, seedings and everything. So we'll get into that. I pick all 16 games for this week. I give you my power rankings for week 17, and we'll look at the playoff picture as well. Also, the college football playoff kicked off last night. Two pretty much dominating wins, as it'll be Alabama and Ohio State. I'll talk about both games. Alabama, of course, dominating Notre Dame, and then Ohio State, which is a little bit of surprise, pretty much dominated Clemson. So I'll talk about both of them. I did watch both of those games mostly, so I'll talk about that this morning as well. But let's start with the San Diego Padres. Surprising moves came out of nowhere this week, as they required, first they required Blake Snell. I think that was on Tuesday. I was like, wow, okay, so they get Snell. But Snell been rumbling that he wanted out of Tampa anyway. So his move wasn't real surprising. Just surprising that San Diego steps up to get him. And then they get Yu Darvish as well, all in the same week. So the Dodgers making a big splash. Like I said, it wasn't like a huge surprise. It was just like, wow, they try to really challenge the LA Dodgers, who's been dominating the NL West pretty much the last, you might as well say, 10 years or so. Finally broke through, won the World Series, of course. But yeah, they definitely this makes them a contender, not just for the role of the Dodgers in that division, but for a championship. You got the young core with Manny Machado, who's still pretty young. I think he's still under 30, and the young Fernando Tatis Jr. And other guys there. The Padres was some people thought they was maybe a year away. So did I. I didn't have them making the playoffs. They actually made the playoffs. But I think they met up with the Dodgers in the playoffs, and the Dodgers beat them, I believe. We'll see if things go back to normal with baseball. We still got another month before we start seeing how things form in baseball. But it was some pretty big moves. So you get two top 10 pitchers, and the lineup is already potent. So the Padres is going to be something to mess with in the National League. The Dodgers better watch out. We'll see if they make any moves to counter that. But as far as the pitcher's perspective, they right there. Yu Darvish, Some people, he's hit and miss sometimes, but when he's on, he's on. I mean, he goes through a stretch sometimes when he don't pitch that well. He gives up a lot of hits, but when Darvish is on, he's on. And Blake Snell, he just won a Cy Young last year. So the Padres, there was some big moves that they made getting them 2 pitchers. So yeah, they're gonna challenge the Dodgers for that division. Maybe we'll even challenge for a run at the World Series. We'll see if baseball go back to the normal wild card, or where they still people liked it when it was 8 teams. So I wonder will they still keep that, or will they go back to the normal 5 in each league? So but if either way, they were some big moves by the Padres. I like them to. I still take the Dodgers because of their experience. I still like today. If you made me choose, I would still take the Dodgers over San Diego. But the Padres ain't playing no games. So I think they trying to compete for not just the division, for a championship. So that was some big moves this week. Other than that, baseball, not a lot of news. Like I said, everything's been quiet. But they were some 2 big moves that they made. Yankees, I thought about the Yankees, because the Yankees always that team that, they got Garrett Cole last year, but they still need starting pitching. That's one of their weaknesses. So if Darvish was available, or Blake Snell, I'm surprised the Yankees, or maybe they was involved, we don't know about it, but Yankees missed it. Like, this is the big story that the Yankees missed out on getting another pitcher. Again, will Luis Severino be back by this year? He was hurt all last year while doing the short season. So I think the Yankees still need pitchers. So that's surprising that the Yankees didn't get one of these guys if they was available. Blake Snell, like I said, there was rumors before the season ended, even though Tampa got all the way to the World Series. But that's a big loss. But the Rays always find a way to win, so we'll see if it hurts them. But for San Diego, it was huge for the Padres. So I expect them to compete and have a monster year, maybe even win the West. But right now, I would still take the Dodgers slightly over them, because I think the Dodgers still deeper as far as they line up. And like starting pitcher, you could say it's even, but I think the Dodgers bullpen probably still a little bit better than the Padres as well. So I would still take the Dodgers, but this is a big move for the Padres. It's going to be an exciting baseball season once we get there. But we still got some time to go for that. I definitely want to talk about that. The NBA. NBA, started a few weeks ago, right before Christmas. It's still early, so, I mean, a lot of people over panicking about certain teams. In fact, I'm going to pull up the standings here, because some teams I do want to talk about. But no major surprises. Only the big injury so far is Spencer Dinwiddie going down for the Brooklyn Nets. But the Nets, that's a team that's when they on. You see some of the games they played with Durant and Irving. When they both roll, and they played very, very well this year. I think you have to put them. I picked them to go to the finals. I think they're gonna beat Milwaukee, even though Milwaukee looked good a few games, but they looked bad. They looked good and bad. Like when it's early in the season, you're gonna have games like that. I'm trying to pull up the standings here. The PL Siakam thing. There's not a lot of detail about it, but I seen that he got benched. So something must have happened. Maybe details will come out about it later. But he got benched for the Raptors the other day. It's a little bit of a news story, but they keeping it in house for now. They just said he broke a team rule or something, so he got benched. But he hasn't been the same since the bubble. He didn't play well in the bubble at all. He was non-existent, even though Toronto still. Matter of fact, I think they lost in the first round of Boston, right? Yeah, I think so. I didn't think they get out. Did they get out the first round? I don't think they got out the first round. But they didn't do too well. He didn't do too well. He was non-existent. So he ain't been right since the bubble. I think he got, to me personally, I think he got put on got too much, got pumped up a little bit too much too early. Like he played well when they won the championship the year before. He had a good run, but like I said, Golden State, as you know, was injured. Clay went down, Kevin Durant went down, so it was just Steph Curry and Draymond Green in that finals, and the Raptors was able to win it with Kawhi Leonard, by the way. But he played well during that playoff run, but then, he got a contract and got all this credit, which he deserved. He played pretty well, but I was like, hold the horses. He had one nice little, run. They gave him the contract. Now, since the bubble, he hasn't played well at all. And the Raptors, off to a slow start. As I look here now, I got the standings up. But like I said, there's no team that stands out. Atlanta, I haven't seen the Hawks play, but they 4-1. But they won some big games. Trae Young playing very well for Atlanta. Even though it might seem like a small pickup, but Rajon Rondo, he stabilized that locker room. So Atlanta might be a team. Maybe they could keep this up. Orlando off to a fast start. Philadelphia, they look good so far. Ben Simmons, like I said, Dwight Howard get a lot of off the court drama, and been criticized his whole career. How not taking the game seriously and everything like that. But he's going to be huge for Embiid. I think Embiid can really rest. Dwight Howard can still play defense and rebound. So I think that was a huge picture for that. And then Doc Rivers being there. So I think Philadelphia at 4-1 will probably keep it up. The Wizards, I've been saying a lot of things about the Wizards. I'm from Baltimore, so the Wizards get talked about a lot. I love Russell Westbrook, but people are already criticizing him already. The style of play. They did win last night. Finally got a win last night, but they started off 0-5. But Westbrook is averaging a triple-double, but there's been a lot of criticism I've seen in the media. It's nice to get a triple. It's true, that he's not winning, but I just believe they're going to turn it around somehow and get back into this playoff. Get into the playoffs. It's still early in the season. He just got there, so I'm going to give him a pass for right now. Bradley Beal, he started to get his legs back. He had a big game last night. So I expect the Wizards to, turn some things around and start playing a little bit better. Out west, no surprises here. Lakers 4-2, Clippers 4-2. Excuse me. I'm a little bit surprised at Denver's slow start. Jamal Murray has been a little bit off so far. I was one of the people that like Denver is just a nice team, but they ain't gonna get nowhere. And in the bubble they played really well. I finally got to see them play a lot. Murray and the Joker, Jokic. So I think they turn it around hopefully, but they off to a 1-4 start. Phoenix, the Suns picking up Chris Paul. It looks like it's already making a difference. They've been, if you go back to the bubble, they've been playing very, very good basketball even before Chris Paul got there. Devin Booker seemed like he took it the next step, trying to step into superstar level. The young kid Ayton, he's been playing well. Then they added some pieces. So Phoenix is at 5-1. I think that's not no admiration. I think that's pretty much they might could keep this up. The Mavericks off to a slow start. No Kristaps Porzingis, so I give Dallas a pass so far. Houston only played 3 games, but James Harden, we'll see how that goes. That's another thing, got to watch out for that. He want to be traded, so if he get moved, most likely to the Eastern Conference, one of these other teams maybe can improve themselves. But like I said, no major surprises so far. But I am surprised a little bit about Denver's slow start. And, people riding on the Wizards and the Raptors. I think they'll turn things around. So you can't go by, it's too early in the season. But you see flashes of teams' top potential. You see flashes of what they can probably worstly do. So I can't wait till we about 10, maybe 10 games in, 20 games in. We'll see where these teams sit, because we don't know how long the season's going to be. They want to play, 75 games, but they only put out half the season just in case COVID comes and ruin everything again. So getting off to a slow start might not be that great of an idea, but getting off to a fast start will definitely help you. Indiana 4-1. They've been quiet. The Pacers, that's another quiet team with Victor Oladipo. They got a new coach, so we'll see if they can keep it up. Charlotte's a nice team to watch too, with LaMelo Ball. He's been playing pretty well of late. New Orleans too, that's a team I want to kind of see with Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. He been playing well. I watched a game of theirs last week. They're an interesting team. Sacramento 3-2. I think that's a little bit of an aberration. So like I said, but it's too early in the season to tell with all these teams. So but eventually the top team is going to rise to the top and the lower teams are going to fall. It always happens in the NBA. It's not going to be any different this year. So but I just want to see what happened with Siakam. What did he do? Why did he get benched? Detroit. I see Detroit here. Theirs look bad. I'm surprised how bad they looked as well. Just to throw that out there. At 1-4. I didn't think they won a game yet. Cleveland has been a little bit surprised. It's early 3-2. But I've seen they beat some pretty good teams with them 3 wins. So and Orlando, like I said, I think I probably already mentioned Orlando. They've been a playoff team, so I don't have them making the playoffs this year because of the rise of Brooklyn. And I thought the Wizards will. Well, I still think the Wizards will make the playoffs. So I just think it would be, they would fall out. But Markelle Fultz, like his career was off to a bad start, but he's turned it around down there in Orlando. He's playing pretty good. So Magic might prove me wrong and make the playoffs. So we'll see. But that's it for the NBA. Like I said, it's too early in the season to really jump on a team and say this is this and that. But like I said, I thought the Wizards would be playing better, and I thought Denver Nuggets would be playing better. That's my only two negative gripes. And positives, like I said, Phoenix at 5-1, and Philadelphia, I think they're going to keep rolling. I think they'd be two teams that might surprise, not necessarily surprise, but really maybe make the conference finals in both of the conferences. Maybe Philadelphia make the East, and Phoenix possibly could get the Western Conference Finals. So to see them off to good starts is not that surprising at all. All right, let's move on to the NFL. A huge week for the NFL. Final week of the season. Teams still trying to make their marks, make the play. Some teams try to still fight for playoff positioning or playoffs, period. So it's some huge games. I pick all 16 games. We're going to look at the playoff picture. I gave you my power rankings and all that coming up. Just a wild week. So only team really with nothing to play for really is Kansas City. They clinched everything. They clinched the 1 seed. They really have nothing to play for at all. And all the teams, of course, that's eliminated from the playoffs, of course, they don't have nothing to play for. But as far as teams already in that playoff mix, Kansas City can really, which they are, they're going to rest their players tomorrow. Pat Mahomes ain't playing. So they wrapped up everything. So they have to get the bye. It's only one bye this year in each conference. So the one in each conference get a bye. So if you 2 this year, you got to play in the wild card round next week. And I guess it's going to be the 1 will get the lowest seed that's remaining, and then so forth and so forth. I guess the 2 will match up with that, and the 3 will match up with that, I believe. So well, let's go ahead and get to the games. First up here, if you used to watching me, I write down 5 games, but I think, big games, I call them big games of the week, would have a lot of say in the playoffs. And then the rest of the games, I'm just going to try to pick the game and keep it going. So first up, Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. this do have playoff implications for the Ravens. Ravens winning the end. They come in at 10-5, of course. Cincinnati at 4-10-1. Ravens 13-point favorite. I think that's high. I think that's a high spread. I think Cincinnati might, they might not lose by 13. But I like the Ravens here. I am a Ravens fan, by the way. I'm from Baltimore. But this reminds me of 2017 when Cincinnati was out of the playoffs, and we needed to win to get in the playoffs. I think the Bills wound up getting the last spot over the Ravens because they lost to the Bengals the final week of the season. So this sort of had that same feel to it. Ravens been rolling though. I think they won 4 in a row. Lamar Jackson, like he's back to himself. But I think the Ravens will get the job done. I think Cincinnati. 4-10. I think if Joe Burrow would have got hurt, they probably would be a little bit more. They probably would have won maybe another game or two. But I think the Bengals is going to be a problem in the next couple of years. Joe Mixon was hurt all year, so they had injuries all over the place as well. But division games, you just never know. I don't like this 13 points. I think that's high. But I will think the Ravens will still win the game outright and clinch their ticket to the playoffs. Another big game, AFC East matchup. The Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. Bills coming at 12-3. Bills being quiet. They're not saying they're going to rest anybody yet. They could because Pittsburgh is. So and they already own the tiebreaker against Pittsburgh because they beat them outright. So the Bills would get the 2 seed. Pittsburgh would be the 3. Pittsburgh played Cleveland, but they're not playing anyone. Big Ben is not playing. So Buffalo sort of been on the quiet with that. Me personally, if I was them, I would keep playing. They've been playing well. I would play at least the first half. Play Josh Allen in the first unit, the first half. And then maybe the second half, if you got the game in hand. Or once you got the game in hand, go ahead and rest everyone. Miami has to win. 2, well, if they win, they in as well. But if they lose, they could fall out. Ryan Fitzpatrick, that was one of the big losers this week. He caught COVID. Well, he got a positive COVID test. So he's at home and he won't play. So Tua they had to ride with Tua the whole game. There's no flipping back and forth this time. So we'll see how that works out. But I will go with Buffalo to win the game. They 3-point favorites. Like I said, I got a feeling they're going to play their starters. Because I think they would have keep that momentum going to next week. So I got a feeling they're going to play their starters unless the game get completely out of hand and they will be winning or losing whatever way it goes. But I like Buffalo in this game. I think they will be the 2 seed and make the playoffs. I think Miami, with this loss, with the rest of these picks, look like they might be on the outside looking in. They might fall out of a playoff spot. Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Steelers at Browns. Huge game for the Browns. They win, they in. They don't need no help, but if they lose, like I said, they could potentially miss the playoffs. Pittsburgh at 12-3. I just said they're not going to play anybody. Pittsburgh got off to 11-0 start, but haven't really played well since. Really, they played well when they was winning games, but they had a big win last week against the Colts to clinch the NFC North. So they're the NFC North champions, and they will be at least a 3rd seed. But they rested people. So the Browns should win this game. I'm going to go with them to win this game since no big the Mason Rudolph is playing, and do I need to say any more? So I think Pittsburgh will win. I think Cleveland will win the game, and they will clinch the playoff spot as well. Baker Mayfield, a lot of people have been criticizing him. This is it. You got to win this game. But Cleveland shoots themselves in the foot, which I've been saying this. I ain't going to take that long to say it, but all you got to do, like last week, you know you ain't had no receivers. They lose to the Jets. You know you ain't had no receivers. Everybody was out for COVID. Why would you have a game plan when you throw the ball 53 times? Why? And it's a game they had probably they got 5 losses. Probably 3 of those losses, they didn't run the football. Run the football. You got Nick Chubb, who's underrated running back. I would say 2nd in the league behind Derrick Henry, honestly. Then Kareem Hunt back there. Run the football, then set up just like when you play Tennessee. That should be your game plan every week, no matter who you play. They gotta Offensive line obviously run block well. Run the football. But this game should be no issue because of Pittsburgh rested everybody. But I think in the playoffs, which I expect them to make, they gotta just run the football. That's it. And it's common sense, for the Browns. I think they shoot themselves in the foot, but I think they win this game and make the playoffs. Oh dang, my screen went blank. But I think it's Lions Vikings. Yeah, Lions Vikings, because both of these teams is out. Vikings actually got eliminated 2 weeks ago with a huge loss. They've been one of the most disappointed teams to me this year. I thought they would win the division. I thought they would overtake Green Bay and win the NFC North, but that didn't happen. I ain't gonna put it all on Kirk Cousins, but he is limited. I think he is part of the problem. The defense didn't play as well as I thought they would this year. But you did find the rookie Justin Jefferson. He's the real deal. Him and Adam Thielen, Devin Cook. He's a top 5 running back to me. So it's disappointing that this team ain't make the playoffs, but they not. Detroit, you already know all their problems. They fired Matt Patricia a couple of weeks ago. Matthew Stafford, been rumored that he might be gone next year. Like Detroit going to have a total rebuild. But I'm going to go with Minnesota to win the game. I just think they're a little bit better. Even though this game is meaningless, both teams are out the playoffs. But Minnesota, like I said, probably the most disappointed team this season to me. I really thought they would be a playoff team and a division winner, but that's not the case. 6-9. So, but the game is in Detroit. Minnesota's 6.5 point favorite. That's a little high. I probably would take the points there. But I'm going to go with the Vikings to win the game. I'm on the road tomorrow. Jets at Patriots. New York Jets 2-13. Jets fans. I don't know any Jets fans, but I mean, just from afar, most of the fans are upset. They lost out on the number 1 pick. They had it wrapped up pretty much. But then they wind up winning 2 games in a row at the start of 0-13. They beat Cleveland. And then they beat, who they beat the week before? They should have beat the Raiders that week too. But who they beat? They beat Cleveland last week. Was it the LA Rams? Yeah, I think it was the LA Rams. Yep, they beat the Rams. With Jared Goff playing like crap. He's hurt this week. We're going to get to the Rams in a moment. But they played pretty well. The Patriots were playing bad. It wouldn't be shocked me if the Jets win this game. I'm going to go with the Patriots. I just think the pride of that organization, they've been playing pretty bad. I think they want to go out with a bang, with a win to end the season. First time the Patriots made the playoffs since 2007. Of course, the year Brady got hurt. Or was it? 2008, excuse me. The year Brady got hurt, even though they still went 11-5 that year with Matt Castle. That's the last time they missed the playoffs. And first losing record since 2000. So this is a new era for the Patriots. Cam Newton, I ain't gonna say is disappointing, but I thought he would play better. RC, what's up, brother? Thank you for joining me, man. I thought the Patriots, I thought honestly, I picked them to win the division. I didn't believe in Miami or Buffalo. I still thought they was getting themselves together, but Buffalo played some good football this year and won the division for the first time since, I was it 99, 98, 95, I think. Yeah, 95 was the last time the Buffalo Bills won the division. That was during their heyday with the 4 straight Super Bowl losses. But I think the Patriots, like I said, they pride. I think they win this game over the Jets. I think it'll be a close game, though. Jets been playing pretty good. I guess they still gonna fire Adam Gase. I don't know. Maybe they still fire him. Like I said, now they don't have the number 1 pick now. But I don't think that's a big deal. Like I said, I'm gonna get to Trevor Lawrence, but I see him play. Every time I see him play, he hasn't looked that great to me. He's good. He can play. I'm not saying he's a bum or nothing, but I'm not so sure, he's the number 1 pick. I probably would take Justin Fields over him. We know how Justin Fields looked last night. And I'm not just going off last night. This is just my opinion. Like, I just think Justin Fields overall looked like Trevor Lawrence has had some pretty shaky games in his career, to me. Clemson still was able to win. But he had some shaky games. So I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket. But so this might be a blessing for the Jets. But anyway, I think the Patriots will win this game over the Jets. I think they want to go home. I mean, yeah, go home basically on a good note. Cowboys versus Giants. This is a huge game. NFC East on the line. Giants at 5-10. The Cowboys at 6-9. I think Daniel Jones is supposed to play, but he obviously haven't been himself the last couple of weeks for the Giants. Cowboys been looking good offensively. They have Andy Dalton got that offense rolling. I'm gonna go with Dallas here. I just think they play better football. The defense have been playing a little even better, getting turnovers. So I think that would eliminate the Giants because both of these teams can still win the division. If Washington loses Sunday night, then this game will basically be for the division. The winner of this game will be the division champion. Philadelphia is already eliminated. I'm going with the Giants. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys here. I think they've just been playing better football, and I think they'll win. But I think it'll be for nothing. I think Washington will win later on that night, but we'll get to that game. Falcons at Buccaneers. Atlanta Falcons always a disappointment. I mean, if you're a Falcons fan, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not a Falcons fan, but 4-11, they shouldn't be that. They just, I don't know, they're just too talented. I mean, it's just, I don't know what's up with the Falcons, man. It's like when I expect less of them, they prove me wrong. When I expect them to do something, they choke. So, but they just played 2 weeks ago. Played Tampa, and Tampa came back, and Tom Brady. So all that 28-3 stuff started coming out again. He done it to the Falcons again. He was down 17, and brought them back. I don't think it's gonna be like that this time. I think the Falcons are done. I don't expect that much fight in them. I think Tampa want to go in the playoffs with some momentum. I think Tampa win this game 6.5. I think they'd beat them by more than that. I think Tampa will dominate this game this time. Another huge game, NFC North. Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears quietly still in the playoff hunt. Once they went back to Mitchell Trubisky, a lot of people wrote the Bears off, but they've been playing pretty good since they went back to Mitchell Trubisky. Honestly, should never got benched. He was 3-0. I think he should have waited till he really fell off, and give him a chance to lose the job. He didn't do nothing wrong. He wasn't playing that well, but they still was winning games. But they went to Nick Foles, and they was up and down since then. But since they went back to Trubisky, they've been winning games. So, Green Bay, Packers at 12-3. Aaron Rodgers, I will say he's the MVP right now. Slightly over Patrick Mahomes, and now Patrick Mahomes not playing this week. So I think unless Aaron Rodgers just stinks up the joint real bad, I think he's going to be an MVP this year. And I think Green Bay will win this game. I think the Bears, I give the Bears credit. Like I said, they've been playing really, really good football. They deserve to make the playoffs, and it sucks if they don't. I think if they lose, they would need Arizona to lose to the Rams. I think the Rams will win, and then they will stay in, and then it'll be the Bears over the Cardinals. The Bears had the tiebreaker over the Cardinals. So Bears, but just to be sure, if the Bears win, they're in. But I think Green Bay will win this game and get that #1 seed. So that's why Green Bay is going to give it their all in this game. 5.5. That seems about right. I guess for a point spread. I'm gonna go with Green Bay to win the game outright. I think the Bears going to challenge them. I think it'll be a close game. They're at home. I wonder how the weather's going to be. I think the weather's supposed to be a little bit bad, but we'll see. But either way, Green Bay's used to playing in bad weather, so I think they'll win the game. Raiders at Broncos, meaningless game. Both teams out of the playoffs, obviously. Raiders fell off big time. They started off with 6-2 or 6-3 or something like that. They wound up finishing, well, they already got 8 losses. They 7-8 and misses in the playoffs. Just a brutal fall for the Raiders. Broncos, Drew Lock, you get to take something positive. He played pretty good this year when he was in there. So I think they might have found a quarterback for now. They had a lot of injuries. I think I mentioned it my last time I was on a couple of weeks ago. The AFC West, even though Kansas City is Kansas City, but the Chargers with finding Herbert, if Drew Lock continue to play well, and the Raiders are not that bad, even though they've been losing lately and haven't looked great. But this division is pretty deep. I think if the Chargers put together their team right, they'd probably be the #1 challenger to the Chiefs. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs. They still head above everybody in the division. But this division is not it's not a slouch division at all. Raiders did beat the Chiefs this year. And just like I said about New England, I think the Raiders would have go off with a positive note. Going into the season, they've been losing. There's been a lot of negativity. Gruden keep his job, all the stuff that comes out with the negative stuff. So I think the Raiders will take some positivity to the end of the season. I think the Broncos will challenge them though. It's in Denver. It's never easy to play in Denver, no matter how good or bad the Broncos is. It's just a tough place to play with the altitude and everything else. It's just always a tough game. I think the Raiders will pull it out, take some positivity into their off season. I think they win that game. Jaguars and Colts. Colts need a win to make the playoffs. They outside looking at it. They need a win, and they need either Miami or Cleveland to lose. I think they own the tiebreakers against them. They don't own it against the Ravens because the Ravens beat them this year. Or I think if it's somehow a tie or something, I think they can get in. It's NFL playoff scenarios change from week to week because your schedule can get stronger with a win. Or if a team that's low, like say for the Jaguars, they play the Jaguars, but just for example, like say Denver, for example, Denver wins, they 5-10, they win, they go to 6-10. That might improve your strength of schedule, and that might change the scenario. It might change the tiebreaker because your strength of schedule is stronger. So Colts, but basically they have to win this game. They lose, they done. That's it. There's nothing they can do. They'll be eliminated. That one win by the Jaguars was against the Colts all the way back in week 1. And everybody thought, well, the Jags, all right, but they ain't won a game since. Cause I was one of the people like, well, maybe the Jags might be okay this year. Nope, they lost all 14 in a row. Been going back and forth to Gardner Minshew to what's the other quarterback they be playing sometimes? But they've been going back and forth between Minshew and I think he used to play for Dallas. The name ain't coming to me right now, but they've been going back and forth with the quarterbacks. But somebody had a theory which makes sense to me. Somebody, I don't know if I was listening to sports radio or somewhere, but somebody was like, well, the Jaguars, now they got the #1 pick now. So now they might be motivated to win this game because if they win the game, it don't affect the #1 draft pick. So that's a good theory. So they might play the Colts pretty hard. They've been playing hard all year though. They've been in a lot of their games have been close. They played Green Bay tight. They played Kansas. I think they played Kansas City this year. I think they played some good teams. It was pretty much a touchdown or less differential. So the Jaguars, they've been getting blown off. The Ravens did. That was the only game I can remember they got blown out. But other than that game, they've been in some close games. And they beat the Colts this year, so it wouldn't be no big shock if they wound up pulling this upset and knocking the Colts out the playoffs. But I got too much respect for Phillip Rivers. I know people go back and forth about Phillip Rivers. He came out and said he might retire at the end of the year. He's a borderline Hall of Famer, all that stuff, yeah, but he's still a decent quarterback. I think the Colts, I just think the Colts go win this game. I'd be surprised. I would be shocked, but I'd be surprised if they lose this game. Now, they might not still make the playoffs because I got the other teams winning, which will make this win meaningless anyway. But I think they're going to win this game. And then I think they would know because this is a 4 o'clock game, 4:25 game, so they would know if they win, it'd be more clear then because there's a lot of games at the 1 o'clock window. So they pretty much know what they have to do because they could be already eliminated by this game, so they'd know. So if that's not the case, if they got a chance to make the playoffs, I think they're going to play hard. I think they'd beat I think the Jazz will give them a game, but I think they'll win. I think the Colts will get it done. And maybe make the playoffs if one of them teams wind up falling. Chargers at the Chiefs. Chiefs rested everybody. They getting ready for their playoff run. They got the first round bye, 14-1. But I think the Chargers will win this game. I like Justin Herbert. I don't even know. I forgot who Kansas City backup even is. I know they Chase Daniel no more. I know he's gone. I forgot who the Chiefs backup is, but whoever it is, I think the Chargers will do enough, and I think they'll win the game and finish off the season with winning 3 in a row. I think they won 2 in a row coming into this game. Chiefs just get ready for they playoff run. Of course, they get a week off next week, so they're not playing anybody. So I think the Chargers will do enough and win. Huge game in the NFC West. Arizona Cardinals at the LA Rams. Rams don't have Jared Goff. They got their backup. They've been joking about it. I think his name Wolf or something. So there's been a lot of jokes and memes about him this week. Like I said about Jared Goff. I'm not saying Jared Goff is done. I'm not saying his career is done. But he's not an elite quarterback. I'm sorry. Like ever since that Super Bowl to me, I changed my perception of him. And you see the game against the Jets and other games this year when he turned the ball over. But I'm gonna go with the Cardinals to win this game. I don't know this backup quarterbacks usually don't do too well in their first. I think it's his first career start too. I think Kyler Murray. This is a moment for him to show make that next step for the Cardinals. So I think they win this game. I think they make the playoffs because they got the Bears losing. So I think the Cardinals will make the playoffs, and the Rams are back in because the Bears going to lose. So the Rams will get the playoff spot anyway, going in at 9-7. So both teams will be 9-7, and both teams will make it, and the Bears will be 8-8. So the Rams will still make the playoffs, but I think the Cardinals will win this game, so they can punch their ticket into the playoffs and move on. But if they lose, they eliminate it because the Bears will own a tiebreaker. So they gotta win this game. Rams can still lose and back in, which the scenario I think is going to happen. They got back in the playoffs with a loss. So I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. I think they win. I think Kyler Murray have a monster game. I think D-Hop and Larry Fitzgerald, I think they get it done. Go with the Cardinals. Rams just ain't been playing that well. Like I said, I don't know how this quarterback is, so I just can't pick him. Even though I got a feeling that Aaron Donald, I ain't heard his name in a while, he might blow this game all up just by itself, which he's capable of doing. So, but I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals will pull it out and win the game. Seahawks at 49ers. 49ers, the team you gotta tip your hat off to. They had a lot of injuries this year. They still won 6 games. No Joey Bosa, no Jimmy Garoppolo went down. All they running backs, the they had injuries all over the place, and they had COVID issues, I think. So they had everything happen to them, and they still won 6 games. I think the 49ers next year will be right back competing for this division. Even though, like I said, this is another division that is deep. You got Seattle with Russell Wilson. I just mentioned the Cardinals and the Rams. Even though the Rams with Jared Goff, they still, with that defense, is still a formidable team. And the Niners, like I said, still play competitive throughout the season. But I think Russell Wilson and the Seahawks will get it done. They still got a chance for the 1 seed. So I think they're going to play. They could get a higher seed as well if they want that. So they got something to play for. I think they'll win. I think the 49ers will give them a game, though. The game's in Arizona because you know that they had to play there because of COVID. In that county, they don't want no contact sports. So the Niners had to move to Arizona and play their game. So they'll be in Arizona. So it'll be the Seahawks' second time being there. So I think Seattle, though, pull the game out and win. Saints at Panthers. New Orleans Saints still could get, also still alive for the 1 seed. But by the way, both of these teams have to, Seattle and New Orleans have to hope Green Bay loses. If they lose, both these teams will have a chance to get that 1 seed, their number 1 bye. Saints, no Michael Thomas for the Saints. He's going to rest into the playoffs. Panthers, one of those teams, you know, play a little. They play hard. Teddy Bridgewater, no slouch. But I think the Saints will win this game. I think. Well, I got everybody winning. So if everybody wins, I think the Saints is to be the 2 seed. I think Seattle is 3rd right now. We're gonna look at the playoff picture though in a few. After I do the power rankings. Yeah, I think the Saints will win. No, Alvin Kamara. I see last night he has positive COVID test. He just had the game of his life on Christmas. I know, for fantasy owners, I know he scored at least 50, 60 points. I ain't played fantasy this year for the first time in a couple of years. I didn't say play fantasy football this year, but 6 touchdowns, 155 yards. He had a monster Christmas game. And then they lose him. Well, I'm glad. Well, he should be back for the playoffs, hopefully. But I know he just had the positive test just the other day, so hopefully he can clear and be ready for the playoffs. So this game would be, going to be interesting with no Alvin Kamara. Latavius Murray, though, I like him. I like Latavius Murray. We used to play for Minnesota. He's a decent running back. He can hold it down. Drew Brees, we'll see if he's knocked off some of his rust yet. He just came back for injury as well. So, but I think the Saints will do enough. I think they win this game, and maybe praying that they have a 1 seed. Now I think it was the Chicago game, the Chicago Bears and the Packers game. Okay. They all at the same time, so they're not gonna know if they can still get the 1 seed or not. They'll be scoreboard watcher. Titans at Texans. Titans. I think they still can fall out of the playoffs if they would have to be a lot of teams would have to lose, but I think they still can get that's the thing with the Colts. They can still win the division. I think the Colts will jump out. Like, say if the Titans lose and the Colts win, the Colts will jump all the way up to 3 in the AFC. I didn't even mention that, but I was talking about the Colts. So Colts still can stand for the division. Titans just hold a tiebreaker, so that's why. And a lot of people don't think they're gonna lose this game either, and I don't either. I think they'll beat the Texans. But another shout out to a team that's not making the playoffs, 4-11 Texans. The mess down there with Bill O'Brien and everything else. But Deshaun Watson, if they was 11-4, he could be up for MVP. Like, you should just go look at his numbers. His numbers is basically at least on Patrick Mahomes level now. The touchdowns he's down. Rodgers got over 40, but completion percentage, yards, everything. For them to be 4-11, he's played pretty well. It's been the defense letting the Texans down. I seen them rant by J.J. Watt, and I'm not waving it like it don't mean anything, but you on the defense, bro. Like, maybe he was talking to his defensive guys, and he had flash. He played well this year. I'm not saying he ain't played well, but the defensive unit just failed the Texans this year. Failed them miserably. And Deshaun Watson, man, I just hope they fix. Keep putting the team around him. The DeAndre Hopkins trade, we could go back to that. That was just stupid, obviously. You still see what D Hop doing. Why trade him? Now he had some beef with Bill O'Brien and all that, but he's gone now. But he was the GM, so. But that trade was just dumb. Like, everybody knows how dumb that was. But he still had a monster year. So shout out to Deshaun Watson. I like him. I think if they continue to build this team around him, the Texans will be formidable once again. But I don't think they're going to win this game. I think Derrick Henry, I've been hearing rumbles they want to try to get him them 2,000 yards. So if they give him the ball enough, he needs about 223 yards to make it to 2,000. And he's capable of doing it. So this could be the game with that bad defense. This could be the game it happens. So I'm going to go with the Titans to win here. I think the Green Bay game, now their defense has been bad as well. The Titans defense has let them down as well this year, and especially in their losses. The loss to Cleveland, the loss to Green Bay, just giving up a lot of points. And Titans not, they probably could. Like, I think if you ask Tannehill to throw the ball, I think he can. He's proven me wrong as well. He's came in and taken that job and ran with it. But the AJ Brown and that receiving core, they got, like I said, it's been an Achilles heel for the Titans. But I think they win this game. Might wind up being high scoring, but I think the Titans win. They win the division and get that third seed in the AFC. And the final game, finally, Sunday Night Football, Washington football team at the Philadelphia Eagles. Washington wins this game. They are the NFC East champions and will get that 4 seed and will probably play Tampa in the first round in the NFC playoffs. We're about to look at the playoff picture in a moment. Eagles, pretty much up and down, well, mostly down, but a pretty much drama-filled year. Carson Wentz, the vision of him. Doug Peterson, they say he might be on the hot seat, which I think is not fair. So Eagles got a lot of issues. Now, this game, I went with Washington in this game because I'm assuming Alex Smith will play. They say he practiced, so that's good news as well. You know what happened with them this week with Dwayne Haskins. They let him go. They cut him. Was seen in a club or strip club, whatever, or at home, whatever, his girlfriend's birthday, whatever it was, with no mask on. And but they say he's been a problem, since he's been there. So they finally let him go. He played bad last week, so they let him go. So if Alex Smith plays, I think Washington will win this game. If he don't, I think it's still a question. I think the defense will have to step up. That front four will have to do their thing and carry this team if he doesn't play, or even if he plays, they're going to have to play well and stop Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. And I think they will. I think Washington will win this game. So that means the Dallas-New York game will wind up being for nothing because I think Washington will win this game anyway. But the winner will be sitting at home scoreboard watching, because if they lose, if Philadelphia wins, then like I said, they would be the division champion. I'm going to go with Washington win this game because I think Alex Smith is going to play. And I think that'll stabilize their offense. And the defense can do their thing, and I think they can handle the Eagles. I think they win. So that is my Week 17 picks. Let's go through the power rankings real quick. Then we're going to look at the playoff picture. And then we're going to wrap things up. I'm going to talk about the college football playoff as well. So my power rankings, this is for Week 17. I wasn't on last week, so I didn't do a ranking last week. So this is for Week 17. Matter of fact, I'm just going to run through it. I'm not going to go in a lot of detail about it because once the playoffs start, it's not going to matter anyway. But all these teams are playoff teams. They already clinched. Chiefs at number 1 at 14-1. Packers, I got them second at 12-3. Bills 12-3. They third on my list. Saints number 4 at 11-4. And I still put the Steelers at 5, even though the Steelers ain't played well in the last few weeks. But they still 12-3. So that's my top 5 power rankings. I didn't. I'm trying to see who else I considered to put on here. I hate when my phone blank out again. But to me, it wasn't that hard for me to pick those 5 teams. Okay, come on, change to the playoff. Okay, here we go. Let's see. AFC, probably nobody. Honestly, I'm real comfortable with this 5. Maybe somebody will say Tampa. They have played well, but like I said, they had some hiccups this year. The Ravens, they just started to turn it on again, and the Titans been sort of sliding a little bit. I mean, maybe those 3 teams, you can argue maybe just playing a little bit better than Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh's still 2 games better than them, so I had to keep the Steelers in the top 5. And the Saints, the Bills, the Packers, and the Chiefs to me, it's been consistent all year. So that's why they in there. So Chiefs, Packers, Bills, Saints, Steelers. That's my top 5 power rankings for Week 17. And I'll do one last power rankings next week, going into the playoffs. And of course, that'll be an indication who I think going to win the Super Bowl. Now, at the beginning of the year, I had Seattle and Baltimore Both teams still might make the playoffs, but I don't feel as comfortable as I did at the beginning of the season, especially about the Ravens, because the Chiefs still doing their thing, and the Bills as well. Two teams came, well, the Bills came out, I don't want to say out of nowhere, but, you know, they played well. Seattle, like I said, they got just so much to go through the NFC. So, and they defense, well, they started to play better, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm not going to change for now. I'm going to go ahead and stick with my picks. Especially if unless the Ravens don't make the playoffs, then I might have to change it because they'd be out. But Seattle is already in. So I'm going to stick with Seattle, come out the NFC still. Even though Green Bay, if they get that 1 seed, you got to go up there in that cold. It's going to be tough for anybody to go to Green Bay and win. It has been in the history of football. So let's take a look at the current playoff picture. AFC Chiefs clinched everything. They're the 1 seed. Buffalo and Pittsburgh, they'll be the 2 or 3. But like I said, Pittsburgh is resting. So I think, like I said, Buffalo will be the 2 and the Steelers will be the 3. Titans at 4 with the AFC South. Like I said, Indy, even though they're 8th right now, they can jump all the way up to 4 if they win and Tennessee loses. And I think Tennessee can fall all the way out the playoffs. So a lot of things. Like I said, I know the scenario. Tennessee win, they win the division, they're in. Miami win, they in. Baltimore win, they in. Cleveland win, they in. Colts can win, and they still might need help. If Tennessee loses, that helps them. They win the division, so of course they'd be in. If Cleveland lose, then they'll just pass them by overall record. Baltimore as well. So they need basically one of the 10 and 5 teams to lose, and then they have to win. But if they lose, they're eliminated. They can't get no help. Everybody else, if somebody else loses, they still get back in. But Indy have to win, and they have to get help from one of these teams, or they will be eliminated. The National Football NFC, I'm saying the whole conference by name. The NFC, Green Bay is in the driver's seat at that 1, and they own the tiebreaker against New Orleans. But I think if it wound up being a 3-way tie, I think New Orleans gets it. I think in Seattle will own it over Green Bay. So all 3 of these teams have a chance at the 1. But Green Bay is in the driver's seat. They win, they the number 1 seed. New Orleans can still get it with a 3-way tie. And I think Seattle can get it if Green Bay loses and they win. And they can get it as well. So those 3 teams still have a chance at the 1. Washington at 6-9, like I said, I think they'll win. I think they'll clinch the East. They get that 4th spot. Tampa Bay is a wild card team. They're right there in that 5. They can fall to 6 though, because the Rams do own the tiebreaker against them. So they could fall down to 6, but they already clinched the playoffs. They go into the playoffs no matter what. But they can just fall down to seed. Rams, as I mentioned, they win. They're in. Chicago, same scenario. If they find a big Green Bay, they will be in. Arizona's on the outside looking in. Dallas and the Giants, like I said, if Washington loses, they can jump up to that 4th seed with the AFC, being the NFC East crown, and will be the 4th seed. So, like I said, I got Chicago losing and Arizona winning, so that would put Arizona and the Rams in together. Tampa would be the 5. I think Arizona would wind up going to the 6, and the Rams will fall all the way to 7. Going to what I think is going to happen, and then I think Washington will stay in that 4th seed, and I think Dallas and the Giants will be eliminated because I think Washington will win the NFC East tomorrow night. So that's the NFL playoff picture. Of course, I'm gonna have Thursday. I'm gonna do a special NFL playoff preview. Give you my predictions. Once again, will I change? Like I said, maybe something change my mind about Seattle and Baltimore. Maybe I go with another team. I do all my predictions on Thursday morning. So wait on, it'll be episode 163 Thursday, as all the playoff picture will be, everything will be set, so we can make some predictions then. all the matchups will be set. To wrap up the blog this morning, thank you for joining me. I've been on for about an hour now. Thank you, RC, if you're still here. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody that's watching right now. The college football playoff, I watched both games here and there. I was working, but I was still watching the games. Alabama, looks like Alabama, especially on offense. They was able to dominate Notre Dame. Notre Dame never really had a chance. I think they was sort of hung in the game in the first half when it was 14-7, and then Alabama made their stamp, and that was it. They slowed them down. I admit they slowed them down a little bit, but I still did never think that Notre Dame was going to come back and win that game. So Alabama's in the national championship final, and so surprised to some people, Ohio State dominated. Now this was really domination. They dominated. Clemson never really had a chance in that game. They stepped on their necks from the beginning. 6 touchdown passes by Justin Fields. Like I said, I think I would take him over Trevor Lawrence. That's my personal preference. I think Trevor Lawrence good, but I think he's been overhyped. I really do. He's had some monster games, but I think he had some bad games in between, even though Clemson still won those games. But I don't like how he looks all the time. But he get the NFL kind of like Justin Herbert. They make it. I think that's why he's still getting a lot of recollection, because Herbert, he didn't look that great in college, but people knew what he could do. He could 6'6", could throw on the run, athletic, and then Trevor Lawrence is definitely all of that. So they figured he'd get to the NFL and get the NFL coaching, he can take that next step. But just going off what I see, I like Justin Fields a little bit better than Trevor Lawrence. That's just my personal opinion. I think Trevor Lawrence is a little bit overhyped, but I understand it because he's a prototype quarterback, tall and athletic, and can throw the ball. So, and he might still go number 1. Jacksonville most likely going to take him number 1. But Justin Fields should get a good look at as well. I like the kid. As far as the game, we got 9 days. As far as I still would take Alabama, but Ohio State, I think it'll be a tough game for Alabama. Ohio State, they only played 7 games now with this one. And I know Dabo Sweeney feel kind of embarrassed right now, man. He's talking about they only 11th and whatever, all that nonsense he was talking with that poll. But I guess that makes y'all 11th now, because they pretty much dominated that game from beginning to end. I was kind of surprised Clemson went out like that. So it'll be Alabama, Ohio State, or January 11th. So that's like I said, 9 days from now. Not this Monday, but next Monday. I'm going with Alabama. I think that kid, the senior receiver, what's his name? He couldn't, Notre Dame ain't know what to do with that guy. He was all over it. That running back, Najee Harris, he's pretty good too. I think he's going to go high if he comes. I think he's a sophomore or junior. I think if he comes, he go to the NFL, he's going to go high too. So it should be a good game. I think Ohio State will be ready. I think it'll be a close, probably a classic championship game. Hope so. Should be a good one. But I'm going to go with Alabama to win that game for now. That's what I go with. Other final thoughts with the channel. Like I said, let's see, what time is it? I've been on here about an hour. Oh, that's almost 10:30. Oh, wow, okay. I'll probably take me a nap, honestly, because I'm tired. I feel that I've went from work straight to this. Cyberpunk, everybody know how Cyberpunk been, is the glitches and stuff. I've been dealing with that too. I got a video, I'm sort of in the middle of a video. I posted the first part. It was like I had to go, I'm trying to find, if you're familiar with the game, Evelyn Parker. She was somebody that helped you out during the heist with Dustin the Shard and all that nonsense. So I was in the middle of finding her. So I'm going to finish that video, continue it, I should say. and Spider-Man, Miles Morales. I'm gonna finish that as well. I'm near the end of that. I just want to do all the side stuff first, so I'm gonna finish that game off. Crash Bandicoot 4. For now, it's I'm not doing nothing with it, but I did finish the game. If you go watch right now, but I gotta go try to. I want to go and try to get the gems and the relics and everything. But I know it's gonna be tough, man. That game was. That's a tough game, man. Like any other Crash game I ever played, this is definitely was the hardest one. So I might bring that back. Cuphead as well for the PS4. The little platform that started off with the Xbox. I gotta finish that game. So there's projects that's open that I didn't finish. That I plan on trying to finish, so they're the ones there. And a lot of people ask me about Call of Duty, Cold War. I'll be honest with you, my brother, Don Juan, if you're familiar with me, if you've been watching me for years, he's like a brother to me. We play Call of Duty together. He don't like Cold War. I mean, it's okay. We played the beta. It's just like any other Call of Duty game to me. It's don't jump out at me, but it's not terrible. He just don't like it at all. He don't like the concept of it, the going back to 1984 part of it, the Cold War part of it. So I figured I didn't want to buy it because I won't have nobody to really play it with. So I probably won't get that game unless it be a crazy discount on it. I might get it then, but so don't expect to see Cold War. I've still been playing Modern Warfare though. But I haven't played Cold War. I didn't pick up Cold War. I'm thinking about getting Madden, even though, of course, it's the end of the football season. But I haven't played Madden in a couple years, so I've been interested in picking that up. So I might get that. But other than that, nothing new. I'm gonna just continue to do the Cyberpunk playthrough, and that'll be all. But I thank you guys for joining me this morning. Actually, I took shorter than I thought, just an hour. I thought I'd be longer. That's part of the reason why I went live. I thank you guys so much for the support as always. Like I said, I like interaction, so if anybody want to interact, it's fine. Check out all the rest of my projects on my channel. I played a lot of retro games from a few years back, a lot of old games, so check them out. Like I said, I do this channel to entertain, but I do it for for me, it's for self. It's like a self-therapy for me. So that's why I still try to continue to do the channel. Now I took a break here and there, I admit that. Like I took a break last week. But overall I like doing the channel. Despite the low subscribers, I just like to talk to sometimes talk sports with people. Trade thoughts on video games. Like I said, I've had everybody had a rough 2020, so I'm not gonna say that, but I am going to say that I did too, but the last few weeks has been rough, man. Like during this holiday season never good for me, and so a lot of reasons why I don't want to get into all those details, but I'm just going to try to ride this positive wave, and I advise anybody else to do the same as well. I had some plans coming up for myself. Hopefully these plans fall through. I can improve my life, so that's what I plan on doing. Not just because of the New Year's resolution, all that nonsense crap. But it is good to start the year off on a good note. Forget about last year. It gives you a reason to just sort of put things in the back burner, put things behind you. So that's what the attitude I have right now. I'm trying to embrace myself more, which I should have been doing all along. But I appreciate, like I said, I got some good supporters here. And I appreciate the people like my man Derek, but he's supportive of the channel, and I have friends that's supportive of the channel, or at least try to give me some encouragement. But like I said, RC and everybody out there that too. There's been two people in here for a while watching, so I appreciate you guys for sticking with me the whole hour and 9 minutes now. Like I said, I come every week. I don't come live every week, but I do a sports blog every week. Talk some NBA, NFL. Like I said, I'm going to do an NFL preview special on Thursday. And I'll still come back Saturday and talk NBA. And if it's any MLB news, we preview the college football playoff final. So we'll have a lot to talk about next week. And I appreciate you guys for joining me this morning. Just keep a lookout for more projects. And I'm Troy West. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all my supporters here, and I'll talk to you guys next time. I'll talk to you guys Thursday. I'll be back Thursday. And just look out for my Cyberpunk and Spider-Man video game playthroughs. They'll be coming up soon. So enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. Corona's still out there, so stay safe. Put your mask on. Wash your hands. Blah blah blah. Do it. I've been lucky that I haven't never caught the virus, but it's spiking here. I'm in Maryland. It's spiking again. It's spiking all over the country again. So stay safe. Have a prosperous 2021. And I'll see you guys Thursday. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you.